Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Hope and the Truth with Lance Parvin. It's been a little while. As always, we're here to renew your hope and strengthen our faith in the Lord. With me today, Ardi. Thank you for joining. And it's an interesting thing of how we met. One of the former people who came on and actually gave their testimony was speaking with Ardi in a store. And she goes, "You got to meet this guy. He has an amazing, amazing story." And I go, "I can't wait." And so
I don't know about amazing.
It's an amazing story. So Ardi, give us a little background on who you are and your story.
Well, my name is Ardi, and I was raised in Germany, not by will. I was sold as a child to a pedophile, and I lived there for 8 years under fear and abuse of my so-called guardian.
That's a pretty dramatic thing. Now, it's interesting because you were raised Muslim.
I was raised as a Muslim, and obviously, at the age of 6, my father knew somehow that I was attracted to men, and he didn't want to have anything to do with it, and he decided to actually just get rid of me at a young age. I
know for some people they go, "How is that?" Because we hear about some stories and people go, "Well, that's just Hollywood." I go, "It's not Hollywood. This actually happens."
It's actually a reality. That was in 1967. I was born in 1961. And in 1967, I was shipped off to Germany and to his cousin, and that's where it all started.
How long were you there for?
I was there for almost 8 years.
And then finally, you just got to an age and...
Well, I became to an age that I was not attracted to a pedophile, I guess, anymore.
No.
And I ended up on the street. So it's very sad, and that's the facts and realities.
No, I mean, it's right to the point. Now, in the room, I remember you had mentioned this before, you saw there was a crucifix.
Oh, that is so funny that you say that. I mean, I arrived at nighttime in Germany in a city called Erlangen, and they put me in an attic, and in the attic there was a little window, and the moon was shining. I was laying in bed, and I saw a crucifix. Now, a gigantic crucifix, and as a Muslim, when in the 60s, you don't see crucifix in any of those Muslim countries. It freaked me out.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I had no idea there was a dead man hanging on a nail, and so I covered my face, and I was crying, of course, and I learned about Jesus then. So that's how I knew about Jesus. And Jesus and I became roommates for 2 years while I was living in the attic. So,
it's funny. People always think there's like a way of like, well, this person was raised this way, or this person didn't go to church, and then you hear stories where a person's like, well, how did Jesus find you? It's like, well, you just explained it. It's very different.
Jesus found me by going into the attic.
Well, yeah,
so, not that I'm a Christian in any form or shape, but this is what happened.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting because child trafficking has become more, I don't want to say more prevalent. I think it's always been prevalent. I think it's more being brought into the spotlight now.
That's right. It's more outspoken. People talk about it now. I'm here to talk about it. I'm talking to anybody that wants to know my story. I'm here to help. I'm here to listen. So,
and here's a great thing. Because you've overcome this, you can, when a lot of kids have gone through stuff, what do you tell them in regards to having hope?
There is life out there. There is hope out there. Look at me. I have a great life now. Being abused and beaten up and put down and bullied and everything that you can imagine a child should have never gone through has happened to me. But I conquered it. I conquered through love and spirituality. And here I am.
Yeah. And you said the right thing. It's love. I mean, that's the key thing.
It's all about love. You got to love yourself, and you got to understand that there's hope out there.
Yeah.
I had hard times, and I'm always sad when I talk about it. It makes me cry, but it's the reality, and I know for sure I'm not the only one.
No, absolutely not. And I think I applaud you for sharing this, because some people, they go through stuff and they're like, who wants to hear this? And I go, I think it's very important, because when you can talk to another person that's holding on to it, they won't let it go, and it's like, look, it's not your fault.
Correct.
You can be free of this.
Correct.
And a lot of times we're saying, no, it's okay, it's just mine.
I mean, because we're different, fine. At the younger age, I was very feminine. I loved to play with dolls. and I'm still a human being. I'm still who I am. And I got judged. I got judged by my father, and he couldn't see that his young son is feminine.
With how things are today in regards to, I know this weekend actually on Saturday, we're attending a child trafficking forum. Actually, it's being put on by Vegas Youth Ambassadors. It's going to be in Henderson. So I think things like this for the community, I think it's something where shining a light on it so people pay attention. Because my whole thing is this is raising awareness. I think a lot of people hear this stuff and they kind of shy away.
And I want everybody to go out there. And if you are bullied, if you are sexually abused at home by anyone, I mean, in the 60s, there was no reaching out. Who would I call? I didn't have a cell phone. We didn't have a phone. I was locked up in an attic. Who am I going to call?
Yeah,
absolutely. But nowadays, speak out.
And
don't be afraid. Speak out.
Are there organizations that you recommend, that you stand with, that you see what they're doing?
I do like ADL.
Okay.
Anti-Defamation League. Any religion, anyone that gets bullied, or anti-Semitism, anti-gay, anti-anything, just call ADL and they will help. They will step in schools. If you're being bullied, if you're being put down, no matter what it is, just call.
How many events have you spoken at, if you remember?
A few.
A few?
A few.
Does it always, I'm sure it surprises a lot of people.
Of course, because I'm a very upbeat person and I'm very well known in the community. And if they know my past, they're like shocked.
Yeah.
But everybody has a story.
Absolutely.
Everybody has something to say. Everybody had some trauma in their life. And if we can all get together and speak it and let it go, we might forgive.
Yes. And we're not defined.
We can't forget,
yes,
but we can forgive.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. You don't have to be a Christian to forgive.
Absolutely. And we're not defined by events that have happened to us. I think a lot of people think, well, I deserve it. It's like, no. You can let this go. There's things that we go through. The thing is that we have to then move on.
Correct.
If we stay there, that's the key thing. We're never going to move forward. We become complacent, and it's not good because there's no growth.
No.
You're either walking forward or in a way you're going backwards. There really is no standing still because everything else is moving.
Well, we're all here for a purpose in this world. We all are born for a purpose. Our life, our journey in this, it doesn't end here. It continues on. So we all are a tool of some type of any spiritual leaders. So maybe I'm here to help. I know I'm here to help.
I agree.
So that's why I'm sitting here with you. I can help.
You're a blessing. I mean, that's the key thing is that, there's so many things that are going on today. I think a lot of people are confused. They're hopeless. They're not sure why. I think it's taking the experiences that we've gone through and then showing it to someone else and helping educate. We're saying, don't turn your back on this. Understand it's going on, but now we have a voice and we can change this effectively and efficiently. And one of the things is speaking out on it. I think that's one reason when we go through something, someone else will listen because you're relatable. A person who's speaking on a topic who hasn't gone through it, a person who's been abused.
Unfortunately, you have to go through what I went through.
Because otherwise the person's going to be like, well, you don't understand. You haven't been through it. And we all have different stories, and it's amazing how we can reach different individuals based on what we've been through.
Absolutely.
And it's like certain people come to you and you go, oh, I'm supposed to talk to this person. But you do have an impact, even though you might not see how impactful you are in people's lives. Eventually you will. But I'm sure every now and then.
We hope so. We hope that by me coming out and saying, hey, there is help. Don't think that you're at fault, because we're all children of God's, and we are here for our purpose. And if we are abused and beaten up for no reason, we need to speak out.
I agree.
We need to go out there and say, stop. I was 6 years old. I mean, it makes me cry. Beaten up all the time because I didn't want to be touched. Beaten up because I didn't want to lay next to a man. I mean, I was 6 years old. How would I know? Fine. But why? Because I was different? No one should go through this.
I agree.
No one. So If you're out there, reach out to any one of us. We're here to help.
Yes. Listen to what Ardi is saying. He's a blessing. You're going to see more of him because we're going to start doing events together. Well,
Absolutely.
surprise. But this is the kind of thing I think when people that have been through trauma go out, we can necessitate a change. And that's the key thing. It's not just something for accolades or for attention. No. It's actually for making a change in the community.
Right. We have to. I mean, look at the homeless. We can judge the homeless. We don't know what causes them to be homeless. We don't know what their past is.
Yeah. And we're in no position to judge. Yeah.
I was on the street. I was 13, 12. Who was I to judge? They didn't know what happened to me.
And that's the key thing. To effectively judge, we need to know the whole story.
Right.
And we don't know anyone's whole story.
Don't judge them. Help them.
Yes.
Just help them.
Truth. It's no clearer than that. When you give someone truth, it's just truth. Not versions of it, there's just truth. Thank you, Ardi, so much for coming by today. You are a blessing. I look forward to more stuff and actually getting the word out and helping the community change and be aware of what's going on. So as always, be good to each other. Right? Give your life to Christ. We'll see you next time on Hope and the Truth. God bless.